Hi, my name is Ryan Freeman. Welcome to my life. Welcome to this channel. I hope that you like this video. I hope that you subscribe to my channel. But in any case, I'm going to bring to you a poem from William Wordsworth. He was a very famous English poet at the end of the 18th century and the early 19th century. He's very important in the Romantic movement that happened in England. And the poem I am bringing to you today is I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. It is 3 stanzas long, so not very long. I will read it to you, and then I will describe the images that come to me as well as what I think it means. It's pretty simple, so if you'd like to pause it after I read it and think what it means to you before listening to my analysis, I would recommend that. Here we go. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, along the lake, beneath the trees, 10,000 dancing in the breeze. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay. In such laughing company I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. So the title, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, and that is the first line. Can you imagine the image of wandering as lonely as a cloud? I don't know the last time you've looked up at the sky and you saw just one lonely cloud. And he wasn't going in a hurry. He was wandering as the wind blew him. Sometimes we use that expression, the wind blew me there, the wind blew me here, just like a cloud. When we're wandering, we're not going directly very fast somewhere. We're sort of just sauntering, a synonym for wandering, slightly. We're going slowly, and we don't know where our final destination is. We're just moving along as the wind blows us, by ourselves, lonely as a cloud, that floats on high o'er vales and hills. So clouds float high, so they're looking down at the world o'er vales and hills. What is a vale? A vale is a valley. When all at once I saw a crowd of what? Next line, a host of golden daffodils. I'll put a picture of a host of golden daffodils so that you can at least get the image in your head of what William Wordsworth is talking about. Of course, watching a host of golden daffodils on a screen is nothing compared to actually wandering lonely as a cloud in the countryside and then suddenly coming upon a real host of golden daffodils, but we'll make do for today. Along the lake beneath the trees, 10,000 dancing in the breeze. The waves beside them dance, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. So the daffodils are along the lake, they're beneath the trees, and he's not only looking at the daffodils, he's taking in the entire scenery. But the daffodils are the star, right? He looks at the waves, and the waves beside them danced, right? Now you say, well, the waves don't dance, the waves wave, right? That's why we call them waves, because they're waving. But remember, William Wordsworth is a poet, and he's a great poet. And poets have very deep feeling, and they personify many things in nature. Perhaps they look into their essence. they see the world more transcendent, more richer. And that's why they write poetry, because they see these beautiful images or hear these luxurious sounds, and they're so filled with ecstasy that they write them down to share with us. If we're a normal person, we just see waves waving. But a poet sees waves dancing, and children probably see waves dancing too, and perhaps you could as well. All right. The waves beside them dance, but they, talking about the daffodils, outdid the sparkling waves in glee. So while the waves are dancing, they're trying to put on a show, but the daffodils are outdoing the sparkling waves. So the waves are dancing and they're sparkling. That's pretty rich. That's pretty amazing. But the daffodils outdid the sparkling waves in glee. So, if I'm imagining two dancers, thinking of two human dancers, and one is sparkling. Maybe they've got jewelry, and she's dancing. But there's another dancer who's outdoing this sparkling dancer with glee. There's something that happens when we have glee. I don't know if you've ever seen a child with glee. Their face, it's one of the most beautiful sights there are. Happiness, true happiness. Glee is a powerful, powerful feeling. And it's attractive. A poet could not but be gay in such a laughing company. A poet, so we're talking right again about the poetic temperament. Poets, of course, couldn't help to see the sparkling dancing waves being outdone by the gleeful daffodils. So of course a poet's going to be gay. And of course I'm not talking about gay, not that that's bad, but I'm talking about gay. And for me, gay is also a beautiful adjective, a beautiful emotion. We don't use it very much these days because it's more connoted with sort of a lifestyle and a sexual orientation. But gay is like happy, but makes you want to sing or dance. I like gay better than happy. In such a laughing company. So he's talking about the daffodils as if they're laughing, right? And when you're gleeful, when you're filled with glee, you do tend to laugh. I don't know if you can hear it rain. What sound is the rain making? Is it laughing? Is it crying? So a poet would have a lot to say about that. And William Wordsworth is bringing the waves to life, the daffodils to life. They're gleeful, they're laughing. And what would a poet do? I gazed and gazed. Gaze, right? He's not just, oh, there's some daffodils. Next, let me check my email. Let me go to Facebook. Whoa, 5 notifications. No, he's gazing. And a gaze is like a long look. And gazing. But little thought. So he's not thinking. Right? Sometimes our consciousness is all in our brain and we're just running words through our little word tubes. But some people, all of us, we have our senses. Our eyes, our nose, our taste, our hearing, all of the touch. And we can also focus our consciousness in our senses. Not think, just look. Not think. Just smell. And when you do that, your senses come alive. I think that's one of the reasons some people smoke marijuana. Because it brings their taste alive, it brings their feeling of touch alive. But we can all do that. We all have these apparati. I think that's a word. We can all try to silence our thoughts or just let them go on, but focus on the sensory experiencing, gazing, and little thought. What wealth the show to me had brought. So this is actually, he wasn't thinking of all of the riches, of the wonder that the gleeful, laughing daffodils outdoing the sparkling waves had brought to him, this lonely cloud. Last stanza, for oft, which means often, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood. Vacant is empty. You ever felt empty? It happens to me sometimes. I just got nothing in me. I've got no desires, got no emotions in me. I am just empty. And I just lie down or sit down, and wait for something to come to me. Or in pensive mood. So in vacant or in pensive mood. Pensive is sort of, thinking, brooding, deeply thinking. They flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. So often when he's on his couch in a vacant, empty mood or in a pensive mood, carefully thinking, they flash, the daffodils flash, right? Flashes like suddenly come into your view. But not into the view of his real life, because he's not by that lake anymore. He's now on his couch. So it suddenly flashes not on his real eye, but on his inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. So actually that's a lot of times happens to me when I'm in a vacant mood. Suddenly something, some thought, some image, some memory comes to my head, and suddenly I'm in my imagination and my memory, and I'm going back and forth. We have a whole picture screen inside our head. And when we're not busy in the outside world, manipulating nature and working and dealing with people or our phones or whatever, and we're just, sort of quiet, sort of not active or busy, then our inward eye comes alive. And that, I remember, was my inward eye as a child was extraordinarily strong. And as an adult, it becomes stronger the more often I don't busy myself. The more I put things away, put nuisances and annoyances and busy things away, the more my inward eye flashes to me just incredible stories, incredible memories, incredible things. And for William Wordsworth, who was wandering lonely as a cloud, saw the gleeful dancing daffodils outdoing the sparkling waves with his real eyes, later, often, not just once, not just twice, often, that image flashes in his inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. I think that's one of the reasons my imagination was really alive as a child. I did spend a lot of time alone. Of course, I had friends, and I had, soccer and school and all of that. But I do remember I was a solitary child. And so some people can't stand solitude. They're extroverted. They feed off of the energy of other people. Introverts will know what I'm talking about. How nice. Bliss. Bliss is like also a great, somewhat synonym of gay or happiness, but sort of a more peaceful, tranquil happiness is when you're just, these beautiful, rich, luxurious images come to your inward eye, your imagination, your memory. And then my heart with pleasure fills. So he was in a vacant mood or a pensive mood, which pensive is sort of not a pleasant it's like brooding. It's not, you're not really happy. Then when that flash into his inward eye, suddenly, and then my heart with pleasure fills. Now he's filled with pleasure. He went from vacant or pensive to pleasure. Why? Because of those, and dances with the daffodils, because of those dancing, gleeful daffodils. So, we live our life, and we fill our life with memories, with images, with sounds, with scents, with taste. And although when we leave that experience, we go on with the rest of our stream of life, it's not gone. It's still there. Is it a ghost? Is it a memory? Is it a figment of our imagination? I don't know, but it's there. It's somewhere in our consciousness. It's in our soul. And it's like a treasure that you can bring up back to you. Just as a side note and a personal note, I have a 10.5-month-old daughter, and when I see her gleeful, when I see her smile at me, when I hear her voice, it's so beautiful. Right now I'm becoming emotional because in my inward eye, I can see her. And so I think it's very important that we all gaze upon beauty, whatever beauty is to you. Might not be daffodils. might not be my baby. Whatever it is for you. Dogs, the memory of your mom's smile, I don't know. And to remember that you have an inward eye. So whenever you are vacant or pensive, just lie down. Let your inward eye look upon the images that flash in front of you. And maybe you'll see some things that are weird. I mean, if you really open up your imagination, you can see some strange things. We all have different characters and temperaments and experiences. But to remember the beautiful things in life, to look again at them, and to treasure them, and then to even talk about them and write about them. You know, it seems such a trivial thing just to look upon daffodils next to a lake and under the trees, but it's beautiful, and it helps us to remember that we have an inner world that we can tap into. All right, my name's Ryan Freeman. I hope that you like this poem, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, by William Wordsworth. I'll bring to you more poems, book reviews, and anything else that I can think of. Hope you enjoy your day. It's raining, but luckily I'm under this gazebo. And if only I could write a poem about it. Well, I'll try. Bye-bye.